Pretty impressive. I know the wind was blowing out. We'll concede to that, but most of them are properly struck. We are definitely capable of that. Coming into this series, coming into the postseason, I thought our guys were rather fresh. We tried to really, the last couple weeks of the season, we had so many good players. We were bouncing the lineups back and forth, trying to give guys rest. So I think you're seeing a pretty well-rested group right now. I talked about the moment in the wild card game. I think once you win that, it permits you to exhale a bit. I don't mean that in a negative way, just in a positive way, because that's really the most intense moment outside of a Game 7 maybe of the World Series. So I just think that our guys have handled this properly. They're fresh, and our guys are definitely capable of what you saw tonight.
And again, to the left, Bill.
Bill.
Joe, just wondering, I know you sometimes sneak peeks at games. If you watched any of Royals, Houston today, and just in general, how tough is it to finish off these best of fives?
Well, I did happen to see a little bit at the end there. I know that Houston was in a pretty good position. They didn't play. It's very difficult. It's just difficult to finish off good teams. They battled back in the ninth. We've done that all year. We've been behind a lot of times. We've battled back. You totally expect that out of the Cardinals. A lot of their better record against us was earlier in the season, their ability to battle back against us in the latter part of a game. So none of that surprises there. You can take nothing for granted. You don't pack up the bats to the last out ever. And I love it for that. I mean, I thought our fans were fantastic tonight. The vibe in the ballpark is unbeatable anywhere. And so the support was there. Our players responded. You had to be pretty much entertained if you're a baseball fan.
And right here in the center.
Yes, sir.
Hey, going Wood against Hayward in the seventh, was that something that was about something you didn't like seeing with Cahill, or was it about the matchup with Wood against Hayward?
It was primarily, I mean, Cahill's throwing the ball great. What had happened there, if we did not make the error, and that would have been the third out, Cahill would have been out of the inning. He would have never seen Hayward. I would have sent him back out to start the next inning. But once it had two guys on, you saw what Hayward did to Arrieta, who's a pretty good right-handed pitcher. So I did not want to chance it right there. I know Hayward is a really good baseball player, but he's definitely a better hitter versus righties as opposed to lefties, so I did not want to mess with it there. And if we're going to go and if we're going to do what we want to do, the rest of this bullpen's got to play. Strope's got to pitch like he can. We got to get Fernando out there, Grimmer. They all have to play, and they have to pitch up to their capability, so you can't run away from that moment.
And to the left, towards the back.
Yeah, Joe, along those lines, can you just talk about overall the body of work with this bullpen in the last two games, and are you prepared to empty it out tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we are. The body of work, the bullpen is really, again, going back to these last couple of weeks of the season, we've been able to balance the workout. So we backed off on Strope, we backed off on Rondon. Their number of games and innings pitched during the season became more tolerable. So now you're seeing much fresher guys. I mean, I know Piscotty hit that home run. God bless him, this guy's a good player, but, that's going to happen. I prefer that he hit a homer there than walk him, actually. So I think they're all fresh. The body of work of the bullpen recently has been outstanding. I really anticipate they're going to stay that way because they're good and they're fresh.
And again,
Joe,
to the left.
Yes,
there
sir.
have been a lot of crucial people around this team on this journey, but how important has Manny Ramirez been around these young players?
Manny's done a wonderful job in the background specifically. A lot of it has to do with our young Hispanic players. He does a great job with them. He does a great job in general. But I've always been a big believer in the Hispanic culture regarding having a coach specific to that group where they could really relate to. And, Manny was a pretty good player himself. So it's such an easy fit. And the fact that Manny and I became friends several years ago makes it even easier. The way he's seamlessly just jumped into this clubhouse. And I watch what he does. I don't just stare him down, but I know what he's doing all the time. And it's been pretty special.
And towards the back right.
Yes, sir. Oh.
Okay.
Front right.
Front right, yeah.
Joe, how would you evaluate Jake Snider overall? It didn't seem like his command was where it has been in the last couple of months.
Wasn't as sharp as he normally is. I saw that from the beginning. I knew that it wasn't going to be a complete game tonight unless something dramatically happened differently. So I was already planning mentally, when is this going to come to an end tonight? It just wasn't the same. Of course, he still had good stuff. He wasn't as sharp as he normally is. Thus, you can't be perfect every night, man. I mean, this guy's been on such an incredible roll. It just had to come to an end at some point in that regard. But he kept them in check, permitted our bullpen to come in with a lead, which is important, and then hold on to it.
And in the back center?
Joe, along those lines, how much is being an ace, being that frontline guy, a part of battling when you don't have your A-plus command?
It's absolutely incredibly huge. That's what an ace does. Again, it's not going to be an oil painting every night. You cannot be perfect. You cannot. Although, like I said, with him, it's been like 2 months worth of almost perfection. But I mean, you can see the thoroughbred in him. You can see the champion's heart within him. He's not going to give in. The ball just was not. He just not throwing it where he wanted to tonight. You could see that from the side. The finish wasn't the same, but gave us the lead. He handed the lead off to the bullpen, and that's all that matters right there. So. Give him a lot of credit, man, not just a little bit of credit. Give him a lot of credit for what he did tonight.
And right here in front?
Soler was on base 8 or 9 times in a row. It's a major league record. First, I think it's 9 at-bats in his career. How locked in is he right now, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, the big component there is the fact that he's accepting his walks. I mean, you talk to hitters all the time, and if they're struggling, they want to change their mechanics. A lot of times they're just swinging at pitches they can't hit. So right now he is basically forcing the pitcher into the strike zone, and that's why you're seeing the hard contact. And if it's out of the zone, he's just running the first base. That's obviously the optimal situation for all hitters. But I like that he's seeing it right now. He's figuring it out right now. Obviously that's good for us. But with all of our young guys, I'm thinking about like now and down the road what this moment means to us developmentally over the next couple of years. So. This is something that he can hold on to and understand how it plays now and in the future.
And we'll take a few more right here.
Just asking about Addison, is that something that you saw as he was running that he
No,
to you?
I didn't know until Jonesy called us out. I didn't see it. I was pretty much locked into where the ball was hit. Then I was watching the replay. I didn't know that it hit the bottom of the wall. I didn't even know if it was like one of those possible boundary calls we might have had to look at. So I was looking at that, and then Jonesy called us out. I talked to Addy, and Addy's, he's a quiet dude, man, and you just got to pull it out of him. And when he started explaining to me what he was feeling, then we knew that he needed to come out of the game. He didn't fight it, and that told me immediately that he needed to come out of the game.
And last one for Joe right up the center.
We're going to find out. We have to do some tests on it. The tests will be done tomorrow morning. For right now, we are absolutely not certain what the severity is. So absolutely not certain. Is that, Mark? Is that like a medical phrase? You hear that? That's why doctors practice all the time. We're absolutely not certain.
And right up the center.
Joe, do you think it's an advantage to have young guys where this is their first playoff go-around and so they don't realize to get stressed out or worried about postseason pressure?
Only because we've been doing well. If we had not been doing well, then this lack of experience would be working against us. So it's pretty much what's happening right now. Whatever's happening now, that's how you're going to read their impact or the reaction to the moment. I think, obviously, to this point, our young guys, they've reacted to the whole season pretty well. Middle of the year, we called up Kyle Schwarber, and he's been, like you saw tonight, he's been like that pretty much all year. Addison, in the beginning, had to work through some issues. He's been locked down since KB. KB worked through some issues. He's where he's at right now. Soler got hurt. You saw what he's doing right now. The thing that I like is that a lot of our guys have met adversity on the major league level, which is different than meeting adversity on the minor league level. When you have to handle it or meet it here and overcome it here, it's absolutely different and absolutely has a chance to be more long-standing in a sense because you've done it here and you know how to do it again.